Don't tell Rachel I'm using her saw again. I did just buy me a new one. A little bit bigger, like 14-inch one. They had them on sale the other day with like, you buy one and you get like this giant battery for free. I couldn't pass it up. So some of you have been asking, if we're cutting down all these trees, what are we going to do to replace them all? And the answer is plant more trees. We planted, I think, probably 8 white pines that we brought back from the cabin and successfully transplanted. We did 1 red pine and that one died. It was pretty sick to begin with, but we wanted to try because he had character. And then last fall we planted probably 12 maple trees up and down both sides of our property. And we have plans for more, lots more actually. Especially once all those ones up by the house, all those box elders are gone. We want to make that look nice. Got the tractor loaded up with this tree. It all fit in one bucket. I'm starving. We're gonna go in the house. We'll make some food. After dinner, we'll come out with Rachel. Hopefully by then, hopefully she's done with work, and we'll go get that brush pile out back. And if it's still time, daylight, maybe we'll try to cut down that big limb that's way back there. Those trees that are back there, the invasive ones, what are they called?
The Bradford pears?
Bradford pear. I knew it was some kind of a pear. I kept seeing Bartlett pear in my head.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I know. Those are the good ones, the ones that you eat. We were just having hamburgers today. Is that okay?
That's great. Alright, well, we are out of mayonnaise, and it's been a minute since I brought you guys, probably, what, 2 or 3 years ago, the mayonnaise videos. And I really haven't changed up too much, other than I don't really use Dijon mustard anymore. And I don't add salt, so it's just 1 cup of oil. And everybody has their own version of this. I do 1 cup of oil, 2 full eggs. Like there's some that are, you know, an egg and a yolk, a little bit of, this is Amish coleslaw dressing mix. Amish coleslaw dressing mix. And I do like a tablespoon or so of that. A good overflowing cap full of lemon juice. Just that keeps it longer in the fridge. And then we go in with our immersion blender till it feels right to me. So we haven't done a what's for dinner in a while.
We have not.
And it's just been, kind of ran out of it, for me anyway, just the motivation to film and cook. I don't know about you, but.
I feel like it's because we've been really, really busy.
Yeah, that too.
Like
so we're always like rushed to eat and just get something on the plate.
Yeah, we will do them still and fit them in when we can.
So here's what's for dinner.
Yeah, here's what's for dinner.
Yeah.
I did not melt you put that smoked Swiss cheese that Rachel got at the Amish store on the burgers. I did not melt it a ton because I didn't want to overcook the burgers.
Yeah, I think it's good. And I just put some zucchini relish on mine, and I got out some of my spicy honey pickles and our beets to have on the side. That's really how we eat come anytime that you can pretend it's summertime or springtime outside. And
especially when it's nice out, because we don't want to sit here at the table and like spend an hour in the kitchen cooking something when we can be outside doing something. So
right. But since we haven't been doing a what's for dinner video lately, how about we answer a couple of your questions? And I love the first one that popped up when I glanced. It was, and we probably have different ways to answer this, so you can take your first stab at it when you're done chewing. Sorry. What do our kids think about our YouTube channel? And I would say probably two things. Not all of our kids watch our YouTube channel, so there's one perspective of that. And then some of our kids watch faithfully, like every video that comes out. Some of our kids are like super big promoters of our YouTube channel, and others might purposely keep it under the radar. Because to them, maybe it's a little cringy, a little embarrassing. But I say all that, and I think that if they had to admit it, they would all say, what you're doing is pretty cool, and I'm proud of you.
I think so.
Yeah.
There's been some cool stories too before where some of our kids have known somebody or worked with somebody for a long period of time and then found out later through conversation that their friends know who we are.
Dad and Rachel are your mom and dad?
Yeah, so it's kind of weird for them in a way, I guess. But yeah, I think our kids they support what we do, and you summarized it well. There was a very similar question has come up about our kids homesteading, and are our kids also of the same mindset where they want to grow and preserve a lot of their own food? Probably not so much. There's some interest, like our son Nick. He's very particular about the meat that he buys. Like he was going to Aldi's and buying meat, and then he went to like Whole Foods and bought meat. Now he won't go back to Aldi's anymore. So.
And then like Claire, once she started her first garden this year, and she started with like transplants of rhubarb and chives from me, and she's just building on it each year. And then all of our kids were raised in the kitchen though, even before we homestead. So almost all of them know their way around the kitchen. They know how to cook their food. They do a lot of home cooking, from scratch cooking just naturally. And I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, but Nick is considering getting himself a deep freezer now that he has a house, and having us raise a pig for him, and maybe some chickens. Do you have any more?
That one.
You want to put my glasses on? I hate wearing my glasses on camera. I have a question for you two. What motivated you to preserve food and start canning? How did you start? Slow and steady and gathering things as you went, or did you buy a bunch of stuff and just get started? That's probably a question.
Yeah, that's a great question. And slow and steady, definitely. What got us started was probably like a lot of people out there, was documentaries showing how bad our commercial and industrial food system is, and how commercially grown or processed foods is basically what's hindering and killing not only us as humans, but the planet, and not good. And then and for me anyway, that same lens would be reducing my waste and my footprint by growing and producing as much as I can here on farm versus shipping things in or buying things. So that was kind of the motivation factors. And buying organic at the time was super expensive and hard to come by. So how did we start? We started very small. We had 2 small raised beds. Can you remember going and foraging? We
Yeah.
went foraging the neighborhood for crab apples so I could make my own crab apple sauce and crab apple jelly. And I sat there with these tiny little crab apples, painstakingly peeling them and getting the core little pits out. Oh my gosh. But I was so determined to learn, and I learned on almost all hand-me-down or estate sale things, and I only started water bathing.
Yep.
So I did like salsas and jellies and jams that first year. And then each year I kind of just expanded what I practiced with and what I learned.
And we started that when we still lived in our suburban homestead.
Mm-hmm.
The suburban home.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I think that the learning aspect of that, the learning bug of canning kind of really got in you and was like, okay, this crabapple thing was kind of cool, but it was kind of a pain in the butt. Let's do some real canning.
Yeah.
So then we go to the farmer's market and buy some stuff maybe to make some jellies, and then we planted the small garden and
Maybe. Oh, and I want to take back what I said about my favorite meal in that one question. While I love fish chicken marsala, honestly, it would be a toss-up with my chicken pot pie. I thought about that one night when I was laying in bed, like, oh, yeah, that's a good one. What's been the most memorable meal we've made from our own bounty? I know mine. I don't know. Okay, go ahead. What's yours? My most memorable meal, it was here on the farm, was the very first Thanksgiving, and everything we served was grown here and homemade here, like the stuffing made from homemade cornbread and my homemade bread, and everything was grown and raised here.
it was the same for me.
Yeah.
We were proud.
Yes. And it was a
full-fledged proper.
Yeah, proper. Full-on turkey, green bean casserole,
6
everything.
different dishes worth of food and everything.
And we've done that since many times over, but that first one was very memorable.
Right.
What about you?
Mine was the same.
I thought you said you had 2.
No.
Oh.
Oh, 2 as in also same as you.
When we first met, did we think you were the one? So I'm going to tell a funny story here. Mine was no, not at all. I actually, when he left, I liked him as a person, super nice guy. And I turned to a girlfriend and I was like, I could just, though, never date a man whose legs were skinnier than mine. Because he's so much thinner than me. And that changed over time. How about you? Probably not, huh?
That you were the one? I definitely admired you.
It was very natural, like just getting to know one
Yeah,
another.
I was just going to say that it was kind of a slow, gradual fall, maybe, in a way.
Answer that question, because I want to know. Good question for him.
From Nancy. Have you been working on the barn? If so, how's it coming along? Will you ever get a cow? Nancy from Nebraska. We have not started working on the barn at all yet this year. So it's coming along not well.
I just talked to him about it the other day. I was like, if we don't start soon, it's going to be the middle of summer and we're going to be sweating and killing ourselves doing that.
Yeah. Well, you haven't been sitting around.
No, that's true. This time of year in Michigan is really, really, truly hard to get things done. Because you have like a couple days. And you probably don't want to start a project like that with just a couple days. But what we should go out there is just build our checklist of like, what do we need to get started, you know?
Sure.
Okay. When will we ever get a cow?
Not a milk cow, not a dairy cow. We will likely raise a steer someday for beef. In fact, our grass-fed beef in the freezer is getting lower and lower. We might have to buy some.
Where did this all come from? Was it a tree that fell?
Yeah, I think so. There was like a tree somewhere that fell, and we cut it up and left it here. We were gonna burn it, but can pretty easily just throw it in a tractor and take it up there and burn it.
Yep.
I did see a little bunny rabbit right next to it, so hopefully when we dig through this, we don't find a bunch of baby bunnies. Oh, it's rotted.
There's definitely a big hole in there. And it seems not entirely fresh, but not entirely old. So careful of that big brambles. Pickers.
Yeah, pickers on it. Oh, these are I think it's that autumn olive stuff. We rarely take you guys back here. This is the back pasture area of our property. 3 acres, 4 acres maybe
4
back
acres,
here?
probably
4. We have a total of about 7. And a lot of the times this gets mowed in the spring and then it gets mowed again in the fall. A couple years I've tried to maintain it because if I wait till the fall, it's kind of a pain. So
yeah, I think you usually try to get it done a full 3 times.
3 times, yeah.
But
This year,
pretty much it's used to feed the bees right now.
Yep. It's turning more and more into grass though.
Yeah.
Like 2 years ago, this whole section was all white and yellow asters.
Yep.
And now it's really turning into grass and clover.
Grass and clover spreading, yeah.
Have
It's
these
kinda
two.
creeping back.
Yeah. I think the more you mow, the more the grass comes.
Yeah.
I have this big grove of all these poplar trees there, and back there is kind of where we get a lot of standing water. It's really swampy in the spring and in the fall, and then in the summer it all dries up. So
Yeah, but a project this summer is to clear that a bit and at least all the dead in there. But there's we had a couple autumn olives that we cleaned up, and there's 2 dead back here, like just scraggly things that aren't good for anything. So we're gonna see if we can't get those pulled up, and we'll replace them eventually with something.
yeah. We do have one tree over there. I would take you over there, but I think we're about done for the night. It's a pussy willow tree.
Yep.
And it was scraggly looking, really bad scraggly looking. And every year the deer would come in and they would rub their antlers all over it and tear it to pieces. It's finally looking good.
Yeah, and every year we try to maintain it and give it a chance, a fighting chance. And this year it's finally taller than you.
It is.
So,
anything else for today?
no, not
No,
really.
I don't think so. What are we going to do for the next 5 days when it rains? I have one thing that I want us to do.
Well, and we're keeping Landon overnight, so
Okay.
we get our
So grandbaby on Saturday,
Yeah.
Saturday night. What do you think about canning all the rest of that goat meat?
Yes, we really, really love our canned goat meat.
I
Yes.
looked and there's like 2,
Grocery bags.
1.5 grocery bags full.
Yeah.
So it might all fit in the big all-American canner in 1 round of canning and be done with it.
Maybe. Yes, let's do it.
Okay, I'm looking at the freezer today when I was figuring out what to make for dinner. It makes me nervous.
Yeah, it's getting
Like how
thin.
much meat we have. There's things that we have a lot of still, like ground turkey, but you can only eat so much ground turkey.
Right.
So it's making me nervous.
Yeah.
We're not going to starve by any means,
Yeah.
but all of our favorites are getting low.
Yeah.
So that's all for today. Kind of a different vlog style video for you guys. And we will see you in a couple days, probably with a canning video. And who knows what else we get into.
Yep. See you guys then.
Bye-bye.